Hey guys, happy Friday. Alright, so I've been on a week straight on the Maxxis Assegai 2.5 EXO Plus. Out of this week, I've probably ridden 5 days out of the week on it. And actually yesterday, I was back on the DHF 2.5 EXO Plus WT. So the morning I rode this, and then in the afternoon I rode this. So I think have a good idea of how the two tires feel and differ. Let's talk about the old DHF standby. I think it definitely rolls faster than the Assegai. You can definitely feel the vagueness when leaning it over here. I think in certain situations I had this week, off camber loose, it would have broken away, and I probably would have washed out the front end. But also, to that point, I do miss some of the playful characteristics. It allows you to lean over this tire from left to right in transition. So again, if it's the only tire you ever had, I think it would be, probably obviously the reason why it's one of the most popular tires out there, and for good reason. So that brings us to the Assegai. So what the Assegai does differently than the DHF, it definitely hooks up leaned over due to these intermediate lugs, and seems like more squared off edges in my opinion. So leaned over, it definitely has better traction and hooks up, because in those previous off camber loose conditions where I felt like the DHF would wash out, I did not wash out. It was able to hold its line and find traction with the Assegai. I feel like it's slower rolling than the DHF. I feel like frontline braking is a bit better with the Assegai. And also I think transitioning from this tire to this tire, it's just a different feeling when cornering and leaning over, that you kind of get used to. Now that I've been on it a week, it doesn't feel as foreign to me, and I can appreciate the traction that it gives me leaned over and in the corners. So just a little bit slightly different tire, both great front tires. So again, if it was either one was the only front tire that you've ever ridden, they would suit you well and you would accommodate your riding style and understand the characteristics of each tire. But that's my opinion. I've had the luxury to ride both back to back, and the new one for a week, and I've been on the DHF for, I don't know, ever since I started mountain biking. So 9 years, going on 9 years. So but yeah, I like them both. Once this one wears out, would I switch over to the Assegai? Possibly. This is a trail bike, so I don't necessarily need something necessarily as burly as Assegai as I do on my full enduro, so I would take that into consideration too. That might be a consideration of how I choose a front tire, because on the trail bike I may run DHF or even DHR2 in a 2.4 or a Dissector in a 2.4, which I don't think I would run a Dissector on the front of my enduro bike. I may run the DHR2, but if I have an Assegai or DHF, it would be one of these two. So I think you got to think about your conditions of your trail, the trail types you ride, and the bike that you're putting it on. So anyways, that's my feedback. Let me know what your thoughts are.